is there a consistent avatar of a man that you see that can take it to addiction, or like what does this man look like?
I thought that this is probably going to be a question that you asked me. So I was trying to kind of get my hands on, as much data and kind of look at all the guys that we've worked with. I mean, I've had clients that I've had young boys as young as 12 reach out to me through, social media. Hey, I'm struggling. Like, talk to your parents. Like, if a 12-year-old is struggling, it's your parents' fault. It's their responsibility to fix it. Wow. We've had guys, I've had paying clients though, 18 all the way up to in the late 60s. So, an age range of 50 plus years of guys that I've worked with. We market to and we really cater our services to high-end entrepreneurs, kind of high performance guys that are kind of out there tackling the world. Like, so to get into kind of like our higher ticket coaching programs, like there's a fee associated with that. Like, so those people are usually doing better in life. I've seen it. If I put it into two buckets, I see there's two types of, and this is very generalized, but there's the young guy that, got caught up in it when he was very, very young. He's in his late teens, early 20s, maybe early 30s right now, lacked real strong masculinity in his life. So didn't have real strong role models, hasn't really found his way. This guy's kind of getting by, maybe still living at home, not really doing, not really taking on the world, not really accomplishing, chasing purpose, like works maybe a couple part-time jobs, maybe delivering pizza, playing a lot of video games. That's one bucket of guys. A lot of guys though are driven, like high performance guys. I had a great geneticist on the phone or on the podcast where we kind of looked at DNA and how DNA that makes you an entrepreneur, DNA that makes you want to go out there and chase big dreams and kind of accomplish things is the same DNA that makes you very susceptible to addiction. And there's a lot of documented, research around that. So a lot of the guys that we work with are crushing their life. I mean, I've worked with pastors. We talked about some data at the beginning, right? 57% of pastors are still struggling with it. 60% of youth pastors. So nobody's immune to it, but we've had CEOs, we've had pro athletes, we've had doctors, we've had lawyers, we've had investment bankers. We've had, the guy that is, selling you your car. We've had the guy that, is taking your money at the bank. So nobody's immune to it. So I think that there's the guy that's lost and he really needs some strong real male role models in his life to help him set on the path. And then these guys have life figured out, are disciplined, are structured, are succeeding. They just need real direction in how to handle this. So I don't know if I answered your question.
No, you did very well. Man, it blew my mind about those pastors, by the way, too, because we talked about this a little bit too. Because pastors, they don't really have anybody to vent to. That's one of the toughest.
Yeah. Well, it's been cool for me. I don't want to hijack, but it's like as I've grown, socially and kind of, it's now known like at my church, I attend a big, mega church here in Tampa or down in Tampa. Like I've kind of been looked at now. I've even spoken to our men's group. So I've had some of the pastors at my church like reach out to me privately. Like I went home like a couple of weeks ago, like talking about some of the things, not specifically with pornography and struggle, but we were talking about sometimes pastors don't even feel like they have somebody they can go and talk about their struggles with. Luckily, I'm now positioning myself, at least locally in my church, like I'm that guy for some of them. Like I've had pastors share personal, intimate details with me. I was like, wow, I never thought I would be hearing that from my pastor, like somebody that I look at. But I think in reality, it's like we need to just understand like they are human beings, just like all of us. So they're going to have the same struggles. And that's the challenge where a lot of, pastors, either they've done it themselves, they put themselves on this pedestal, or the congregation puts them on that pedestal to where they can't be a real human being.
It makes sense the congregation put you on that pedestal because they're leaning on you for
everything,
their spiritual fulfillment.
Yeah.
And to be,
I think that's a flawed. I mean, I'm not here to, to speak spiritually on how people's, walk should be, but I think that's a flawed approach. Like if your pathway to Christ is through the pastor and not directly to Christ, I think you're always going to be let down.
Wow. No, man, that's a bar. That actually is. That's actually a really good point. I want to ask this too, because would you say that, because another thing we hear about that we kind of spoke about and kind of got into in previous shows is that there's also like which is another new issue is masturbation. Like there's a masturbation issue now where we're just generally masturbating a lot more. But is that directly related or directly linked to porn, like an increased amount of masturbation?
Yeah, man. It's interesting how you shared what Tim shared with you, because that's not an experience that I've had a lot of, where guys are just watching it for the sake of watching it.
Yeah.
Most of the conversation that I've had is pornography has become the gateway to the release, right? They talk about PMO, pornography, masturbation, orgasm. It's kind of like, the big three. It's kind of like you search that in Google or YouTube, you'll see a lot of trending searches in around that. So most people that I know are using pornography to get the ultimate release, right? And this is where guys that are using it as a stress reliever, a way to suppress anger, a way to deal with anxiety, they know that if I physically release something, I'm going to feel a little bit more calm. So yeah, I've always seen it as like the gateway to the masturbation. So obviously, yeah, as it rises, like you're going to see the numbers rise in there as well.
And that's one thing that I think everybody's used to hearing men just in generally kind of masturbate a lot, puberty, whatever the case is. But a lot of people don't know that women masturbate a ton too. We've actually even had Ryan. You spoke to a couple of our members.
Man, man, let me tell you. So we got these YouTube members, and I love them. And well, let me tell you, we go in so deep on some of these conversations. So I spoke to about 50 of them, and I had some very intimate conversations I was not prepared to have, but was much needed because I was really able to find some of these issues. And I had some women in particular that informed me that they masturbated multiple times a day, and it completely blew my mind. And
they can masturbate differently.
And it was yeah, and I, I was surprised by some of the follow-up questions I was asking, to be honest with y'all, but because I was just curious. I'm like, yo, like, did you laying down? Like, is it an intimate thing? But it's like on the go. Like, it might be I'm getting ready to go to work. I'm feeling a certain way. I'll knock it out in the vehicle and pull my pants up and then go to work. It's in the bathrooms. It's like going down anywhere. And a lot of these women know their bodies too, so they can get to the finish line really quickly.
Were these masculine women? Like, were these women that were career driven,
professional women?
Professional. Yeah. So
wow.
Oh, is that what
is that? What does that correlation have to do with anything?
For me, when I hear a woman, like, I need to just physically kind of release something, like that's something a guy would say. Like, to me, so I instantly just went to like, okay, if it's just this, like, because going back to the erotica, it's like women want protection, nurturing. They want to feel safe, and intimately they want all those same things as well. So to hear a woman say, I just
trying to get it off,
need to get it out, that's, to me, that's a masculine trait.
Okay,
so,
no, I get it. A masculine way of releasing.
Yeah.
And
I'm not saying it's good or bad.
Not
good or bad. It's just where the first thing my brain thought of is like, I can almost guarantee that these were professional, more masculine type of women.
Let me ask you.
Yeah, and I don't want to say they was masculine. Might be mad at me for saying that, but they was definitely career women for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, they can't be mad about the fact that they're a career woman or not.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
You are what you are. I'd be curious with you, like your clients, the girls, the women that reach out to you, are they oftentimes the ones that are struggling with like visual watching pornography? Are they more professional, like masculine type women?
Actually, I've had the opposite experience.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, a lot of them are a lot of women who have reached out to me are between the ages of, I would say, like, young, like teenage girls.
Okay.
And then like anywhere from like, I would say 25 to like 35, but they're not specifically like career driven. A lot of them have questions regarding like where God wants them to go in life, what their purpose is, what their passion is, where they're called to. A lot of them are in school and they don't even know if that's something they want to do. They're trying to figure things out. So I haven't really had that experience with a lot of, I know exactly what I want. I'm getting it. I'm already there. I'm super successful. Not that these women aren't successful, because everyone's where they're at,
Exactly.
Right.
Everyone's got their own timeline, but yeah, it's been opposite for me with that, actually.
And have you heard? Well, go ahead, Frank. You had a follow-up question.
I don't want to hijack.
No. Frank got some questions. He's about to put together his course for women, right?
He's a host too, so
go ahead, Frank.
But the majority of the women are 25 and younger. Is what I say. Yeah, so that makes a lot of sense, because this is the generation that has grown up with a cell phone in their pocket. Right. Women that are 30 plus, like, they had a portion of their life that it wasn't technologically wired to everything that they did. So and I think that's only going to continue to rise. So what you're doing is so needed, and your client pool is going to just continue to overwhelm. And I think a lot of it is just because you are dealing with the first generation that literally from the age that they were 10 had access to all of
Yes,
us. And I think
very,
that's playing a big role in it.
Yeah.
very important generation to take care of.